I spent an hour scrolling through the wiki adding literally every negative trait to a single character via the community editor mod in an attempt to create 3 of the worst characters this game has ever seen. But unfortunately, when I spawned in, this happened. You son of a bitch! R.I.P. Mr. Redshirt, I suppose. So it looks like I'm gonna have to be a little more realistic with my approach. So please welcome the how the bloody hell are these lots still alive? 3 of the most greedy, lazy, decrepit individuals you will ever meet. First up is Hunty Boy Michael Hunt, a doomed zoologist with crazy metabolism and both his knees replaced. Then there's Handy, full name Willie Stroker. He's a stoner also with crazy metabolism and is also a massive couch potato. Then finally, and probably the worst of the lot, is Fiddler, christened Mo Lester, who stress eats, is a massive dickhead and is decrepit. You'll notice they all have a few things in common. They all consume twice the food of a regular knobhead, and all of their quirk skills is filled with animal facts. Literally the only quirk skill in the game that is completely useless. So I may be adding a sprinkling of interesting animal facts throughout this video. But for now I take over as Handy and try to repair some faulty facilities. I can't build this because we have 0 workers. Oh, I fucked this up, haven't I? Oh my lord, I can't build anything. Handy being both a couch potato and a stoner means we have no one available to work. Fucking typical. Looks like we might be sacrificing Mr. Stroker to a juggernaut sooner rather than later. And this is why your parents always told you to stay well away from drugs, because an angry Welshman on the internet might turn you into zombie grub. But for now we'll use him to try and get a car up and running. You see, while I was setting this up, I put the difficulty to green zone so the characters could claim base nice and safely. Then once they were tucked up neatly in bed, I added all the negative shit and put the difficulty up to lethal. That means the starter car is nowhere to be seen. So after grabbing some fuel and a toolkit from Big Daddy's Auto Repair, I make my way to a pickup I found on the map. Then after a quick repair and refuel, we have a car up and running. But before I leave, I loot the entire area, collecting a few melee weapons, 2 sacks of building supplies and several cans of fuel. And I know what you're thinking, why collect building mats when you can't build? Well, shut up, alright? I then drop our supplies off back at base, but while I've been gone, we were robbed. And seeing as our group of greedy bastards eat more food than an American with a thyroid issue, we gotta get that sack back. So I head back to Big Daddy's auto shop and ask him very nicely if I can have my quavers back. Thankfully he's like, aye, but no worries.
Jay, what are you doing? How come you let that man live?
Listen, you knobheads, if I wanted to kill starving innocents, I'd become a politician, alright? Nah, I'm just joking, I'm not using any boons, so I don't have any guns at the moment. But don't worry, our time for shooting dickheads in the face shall come. I then find our first gun in the army tent just across the bridge from our base. Plenty of ammo too, nice. So I once again drop off a ton of supplies I've looted from nearby, then head back north because I like to clear that section of Trumbull first. But not before I climb the tallest cell tower I can, baby. What can I say, at this point is basically a staple of the brand, isn't it? But first I'll quickly search the power station, seeing as I'm here, and scraps of circuitry could prove invaluable later. So, shit, shouldn't have done that. I didn't know so at the time, but that mistake was gonna cost Handy his life. I entered the nearby shed, and with the zombies having heard my noisy search, they were waiting for me. And I get bit, taking massive infection damage in the process. Obviously at the moment it's not too bad, but as I'm not able to build an infirmary, I can't passively remove my partial infection, nor can I craft cures for when he inevitably catches plague. But for now I escape by climbing a tall ladder. What can I say, sometimes you just need to climb a tall structure to gain an additional view of the problem. And you know what, I think I might have a solution. I need to recruit an extra member of the team. I just need to make sure they have a negative trait, then I'll use livestream chat to vote on what additional negative traits I can add to them. But in order to recruit people, I'm gonna need influence. And this being Trumbull Valley, a map that you lot voted for, by the way, there are several plague guts I can take down safely in order to gain that influence, as well as a good chunk of resources. The first of which is in this little red shed. And if you've never seen this before, allow me to run you through it really quickly. Jump out of car, open door inward and release any zombies that may be inside, kill said zombies, then repark car like so. And when you get out, you'll be completely safe and immune from any kind of zombie attack, with the exception of maybe a juggernaut. But we're still early game, probably nothing to worry about. But while I'm slicing and dicing like a London teen, it's time for animal fact number 1. Did you know a group of flamingos is called a flamboyant? Which I'm sure you'll agree suits those pinky bastards down to a T. Anyway, being completely safe makes this hut barely an inconvenience. But I did make a small mistake. I've got no spare pockets to store any of my shit in. But that's alright, at the end of the day, that's the joys of having a pickup truck. We can store all of our shit in there. That is, of course, assuming you don't have a horde of zombies waiting for you. So it looks like our lazy ass is going for a little jog, even if he can barely manage it. Oh, really? My dude can't climb onto a caravan. That's how you know they're terrible characters, chat, when they can't climb on caravans. But hey, a quick jog back and we can jump in the car and get lost. Right, how many pockets have I... Oh, God, you... Oh, no! No! You kidding me? And that is it. A lapse in concentration means our lazy ass stoner boy is going to meet the great beyond. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Well, they do say denial is one of the stages of grief. But maybe, just maybe, we stand a chance. I got 4 minutes to save a character and I have no infirmary. But what we do have is the landmark outpost. Albeit the chances are slim, but you can get a plague cure to spawn in one of these. I fast searched the first container, but no luck. 2 more containers left to search. On to the second and... rifle rounds? Who the bloody hell stores bullets in a pissing medical facility? Not ideal, but with 1 container left, I still maintain hope. No! They say it's the hope that kills you, but in this case I think it was a mixture of gross incompetence and zombie infection coursing through his veins. But the question is, how does this lazy stoner choose to go out? Does he climb a mountain and blaze one up for the final time? Does he find a corner to cry in and weep while death comes for him? Or does he say fuck this shit and crack on to help out his former teammates? A siege site is formed in Big Daddy's auto shop and nothing will prevent Mr. Willie Stroker from eliminating the squatters. Not even a pissing crackhead. 1 shot takes down 1 of 2 screamers, and more shots than I care to admit take down the crackhead. But at least we now have our second gun. Not that it's gonna do Handy any good, but let's be honest, society improves when blokes plant trees of which they'll never butcher for roly papers. So we are now currently going for a run. This was bad idea. In all honesty, I've had better ideas. I then get ripped out as the car accelerates forward and bursts into flames. For Christ's sake! I then drop a molly and attempt to shoot a screamer with my last round in the chamber. Fuck! But then after sticking in my final mag, I handle the screamer with the utmost professionalism. Oh my god! Dude! Will you shut the fuck up? Then finally, with everything around him dead, Handy can drop his entire inventory. And then it's just a matter of time of waiting down the seconds until the inevitable. Although his final seconds are ruined by Lily and Ray bickering over the radio. Rest well, Handy. Rest well, you lazy bastard. Now it's Michael Hunt's turn to take on the apocalypse. Him and his 50% health. He rocks up at the sight of his mate's demise, then bludgeons the corpse with a pipe. And then once he's collected all his stuff, well, as much as he could fit in his pockets, it's time to head back to base. But don't worry, the other stuff is in the back of the detonated pickup. And remember the crackhead that dropped the rifle earlier? Well, it turns out it was a 100-round one, baby. But the question remains, what am I supposed to do without a working vehicle? Well, seeing as I do have the influence, I reluctantly use the radio command to call in the prepper vehicle, which I'm very grateful to find out has a toolkit in. So then we head off to continue what Handy started earlier, cheesing as many player carts as possible. The first of which being in this chemical shed. And I'll be honest, there was a small part of me that thought this wasn't gonna fit, but hey, you can't beat a tight fit, am I right, boys? Anyway, the heart goes down about as easy as you can expect, and then I can steal all of its goodies. Before cracking onto the second of 2 chemical sheds. Also, who doesn't love epic drifts? You're definitely lying if you said you don't. Also, there's another plague cart that's now dead. Once again, thank you very much for the loot. Then it's time to drive to our final cheatable heart. But on our way, it's time for animal fact number 2. Did you know there's a species of jellyfish that's immortal? Also known as this on screen. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. If I did, it would probably be classified as a hate crime. But basically, this jellyfish is capable of reverting back to its juvenile stage after already reaching maturity. Something I'm still yet to reach as a 31-year-old. And that effectively will restart its life cycle, meaning under the right conditions it can live indefinitely. A trait that gratefully can't be passed on to humans, as I'd hate for that twat Rupert Murdoch to regenerate like some kind of evil Doctor Who. Anyway, that's our 4th heart taken care of, and we're still yet to be touched once. Obviously ignoring that stoner bloke, but I was told drug addicts don't count. Sadly, I'm not able to loot as much as I'd like, as both my pockets and pickup are rammed with valuable shite. But even without that loot, this excursion was without a doubt valuable. I unload literally all of my loot, then realise with Handy dead I can finally start building. Well, then we can get an infirmary going. That's amazing. Then with no other enclaves on the map and realising I'm going to need to recruit people sooner rather than later, I use the radio command to introduce myself to a new set of survivors. And I'm like, alright, but how's it going? Radio is always on if you need a slice of sugar or something. And even though I'm low on influence, I decide it's best to spend what I do have trading for a sack of building materials. I also make sure to check out each of their skills, with only Lara seemingly qualified for our geriatric run. The fact her cardio is maxed out at 3 stars means she's got some kind of negative trait under the hood. But for now I'll wait to recruit, as I'm out of influence and one single mission should make them allied and I can recruit them for free. So for now I decide to crack on with plague carts, a potential danger seeing as we're out of cheesable ones. Well, kinda at least. With that being the only access point on this side of the compound, zombies from outside this area can't get to me. Probably. So after dispatching the only 2 Zeds from the Playcart's building, I go in and start beating it with a heavy weapon I collected from a previous heart. I actually complete the first phase before a single zombie can get to me, but now they're outside the door sniffing about. A combination of 1 molly throw and 4 melee hits completes the second phase, and just as the undead breach the front door, I toss a molly over the shoulder and dodge my way out, even taking a second to close the door behind me, although taking a second to gloat my victory over zombies mean I burn through the door. Not ideal when your starting health is on par with the King of England. And for some stupid reason I also forgot to bring healables with me. But there's one thing I do have: performance enhancing drugs. Hey look, I'm just like Paul Pogba. Nah, just joking, I'd never want to be compared to a former Man United player. Even just joking about it makes me shudder. I then climb on a nearby abandoned truck and pop off a couple of shots to draw them away from the Playcart. Try to draw them over this. Oh god, they can climb up on that. Since when? At that point I'm like, fuck it, let's just run for it. Which overall I'd say works out pretty well. Although in order to loot it I do have to lead the undead on a little wild goose chase. But inevitably I make my way back and collect all of its juicy loot. Then I head back to base to drop off said loot, then go to speak to Fiddler who has some curveball intel. Zombies are getting weaker. Well that's fucking cracking, but thanks for letting me know. I also need more building materials so I can upgrade the infirmary, but for now I head east towards Spencer's Mill as one of my neighbours is asking for an ammo rucksack. Unfortunately for them though, the place I had in mind to loot is claimed by another enclave. Oh man, I'm gutted. I can't believe I drove this entire way for no reason. Nah, obviously not. We got another tall ladder to climb, baby. I scout the whole area, finding 3 Playcarts in the process, and a hostile enclave that's named themselves the Grocery Raiders. I'm sorry, right, but that is literally the shittiest name for a baddie I've ever heard in my life. Oh my god, I'm terrified of the scary dudes I've just raided Sainsbury's. Oh, fuck off, you twat. Then realising my crippled ass has attracted the attention of 2 hordes, I rush to introduce myself to this new enclave. And thankfully they seem pretty friendly, although I'm starting to figure out why they've named themselves the Aimless Wanderers. Bloody hell boys, you can hit water if you have bloody gills like. Don't worry, I'll sort this one out. But I'll tell you what, this is what I'll do. I'll call it even if you take out the dozen or so that are on their way right now. Cheers boys, nice one. Once they've dealt with the issues I caused them, I check out their skills, but it doesn't seem like anyone has a negative trait. Well, seeing as they're no longer any use to me, it's time to leave. But not too far, as I can't travel all this way from base without being at least slightly productive. So ignoring my fatigue that's creeping in, it's time to take down another Playcart. And always remember, when you go head first through a window, close your eyes so you don't go blind. There unfortunately seems to be way too many Zeds in this building, so I retreat back to the pickup. And from there I pop more Adderall and charge through more glass to assault the Playcart head on. I get a solid 6 or 7 hits in before the hordes catch up to me and I've got to retreat. And in doing so I jump through even more glass. Honestly, if I smash any more, you're gonna think I've invested heavily in the window market, which I haven't, but that would have been a cracking segue for an investing app. Any brand out there that wants to give me 10 grand, I'll leave my business email in the description for you. Nice one. Anyway, seeing as my Adderall is still in effect, I want to get the most out of it by assaulting that Playcart. But with me being so frail, I need every zombie out of that building. Thankfully, 1 lap around the house seems to do the trick. And by the time I get back in there, the heart's actually only 1 more hit away from phasing. I then wait for the cloud to dissipate in the bathroom opposite, just as the undead start to reappear. Which was probably a mistake, as they now block my escape. Damn, I'm a bloody good professional. Thankfully, I managed to escape with the help of button bashing, and from there I go full auto on the roof of my car. And seeing as I'm rocking a 100-rounder assault rifle, it goes down pretty simply from there. I then do the quickest snatch and grab since one Portuguese evening in 2007, and make my way back to base. But you know what I think it might be time for? Animal fact number 3. Did you know some species of turtle can breathe through a multi-purpose cavity that is also used for excretion and reproduction? Well, that brings a whole new meaning to the term talking out of your ass. But at least turtles have a bloody good excuse for having smelly breath, unlike Dave in accounts. Come on Dave, just have a bloody tic-tac, man. Anyway, I get back to base surprisingly without running out of fuel. I take over as our final terrible character, Fiddler, and he is without a doubt the worst of the lot. And I don't mean his attitudes towards children. To show you precisely how terrible he is, he's absolutely fucked after a little jog to refuel the pickup. Well, maybe he too is not long for this world. But for now I need building materials, so get to looting, you lazy prick. He heads back to the scene of Hunty Boy's earlier victory, and after seeing off a small collection of knobheads high on caffeine, Fiddler gets to looting. He collects 1 sack of building mats from this storage shed, a second from the garden supply shed across the compound, then finally a third in the steel factory. And after that very successful looting run, I should now be able to upgrade the infirmary to level 2, which will finally allow us to start healing passively. In fact, it's the first thing I do once I drop everything into the supply locker, so providing I can survive another 16 minutes, we're golden. Ah, shit. Big Daddy's siege site has escalated to a level 3, and we have a wandering horde that's about to, well, wander past my base. We have 2 options: run and hope nothing bad happens to Hunty Boy while he's upgrading the infirmary, or number 2, head on and face it directly in the field. I decide now is not the time for Molester to be a little bitch. Right, well now the bloat is taken care of, I can do the rest with the car, right? In theory that would be great, but in practice literally everything goes wrong. I'm forced into a fender bender to remove the zom from my hood, and then I try using my arse to mow down the hordes. But I basically missed and then immediately get myself stuck. Certainly not ideal, especially when apparently I didn't take down all of the bloaters. No, fuck! I reverse hard through the horde, but I'm not able to jump out without being turned into a not so happy meal. By the time I do jump out, my health has hit 0 and my infection meter goes into overdrive. No! 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 Not like this! Not like this! Not like this! Button bashing frees me from my demise, and I'm able to limp away with just over 3 minutes left to live. Thankfully, I'm able to relieve the infection with the plague cure I brought with me, but there's still the matter of dealing with the wandering horde. So I pop a stim and get to swinging, fighting every urge I have to whip out the machine gun. Thankfully, with his cardio constantly being refilled by Big Pharma, Fiddler gets to work and deals with the entire horde with nothing more than his drive shaft. Damn man, I wish I could say I was this good at swinging my shaft around. And frankly, so is my missus. Gratefully, the car managed to survive that encounter, but before I can crack on with my next plan, more disaster strikes. A level 3 siege is coming to attack our crippled delinquents. Again, with 2 options, I choose to stand and fight, knowing full well this could be exactly where everything falls apart. I once again get the pickup stuck on the bridge, although this time it's deliberate. My plan is to use it as a barricade to at least slow the flow of the undead. But first, I need to pop that screamer. Annoying little shits they are. Then after climbing to the safety of my pickup, I pop another screamer and bloater from the second wave that's now starting to catch up to the first. But that's a good thing, it means my slow the flow tactic is working. Then needing a serious amount of stamina, I pop an energy drink. Then I crack on with the whole smack and dodge technique before taking a break to pop a bloater, before deciding now's the ideal time to drop my soda can bomb. Who doesn't love a cheeky explosion, am I right? Now suffering from caffeine withdrawal, I move into the world of pharmaceuticals, but it feels like I'm not even making a dent into this horde, and we still have a much nastier third wave to come. And that's when I notice a second siege is actually trying to flank me. It's fair to say things are not looking good for Fiddler, and how the bloody hell are these lots still alive? But sensing this wave will be much easier to deal with than a Juggernaut Feral combo, I crack on. And once the bloaters and screamers are dealt with, the rest of them should be pretty simple to deal with as they've come from the soft skins curveball zone. But then again, I have definitely been wrong before. So now might be the time to retreat, seeing as I'm low on health, got no healables and only 1 stamina item. And it seems the other siege site has made it through my impenetrable pickup truck. Things are starting to look really bleak. With Hunty Boy distracted from the front, I come around the rear, then limp to my supply locker before sorting myself out with a medikit. And now that I'm able to fight without clutching my chest, we finished that wave incredibly easily. In fact, the other wave is also pretty simple, especially with Hunty Boy backing me up. But then it's time for the grand finale, the Jug Feral combo. And let's be honest, the only way I stand a chance is by abusing the rear end of my pickup, especially as the Juggernaut is not a fan of the combustion engine. Using my arse, I go through him like cheese through lactose intolerance, but interestingly, the Feral was nowhere to be seen. It could potentially be glitched, or maybe he's terrified of my bunda. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Then seeing as the sun is still shining, I decide to crack on with attacking more play cards. The first being in this house is it's in the zone of the soft skins curveball. While high on caffeine, I charge in and wedge myself in the corner and continuously beat it until it phases. At that point, I throw myself through a window and retreat back to the car, where I complete the next 2 phases with my assault rifle. And with all the zombies having vacated the house, I can charge in and do another snatch and grab. But thankfully, it's not the kind of snatch and grab that a man named Mo Lester would usually pull off. Anyway, I drop the loot back off at base, then sticking with Fiddler, crack on to try and save a stranded alcoholic. And I know what you're thinking, I seem to get this mission in every single playthrough. And you're correct. I don't know what to say. Maybe the game knows the state that my liver is in and is trying to tell me something. Or perhaps this is just a really popular mission and I'm overthinking it because subconsciously I suspect I have a drinking problem. Any psychoanalyst knobheads in the comment section? Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, I rock up to try and save Red Eye, who might just be a massive drama queen. But when I enter the building, there's like 3 zombies in there. What a moron. Obviously, this escalates quite severely due to me attracting hordes with my loud engine. But me being the decrepit individual I am, I'm forced to retreat as Red Eye doesn't fancy a chat while she's surrounded by the undead. But her downfall could be my opportunity. With the local population distracted by her vodka-induced screams, I'm pretty safe to assault the play cart next door. Alright, well ignore me, that turned out to be utter bollocks. So I rush back to Red Eye to bring the hordes closer to her, before sneaking back to the play cart. But once again, that doesn't work. And it gets even worse when a feral decides to rock up. I try leading the crackhead over to Red Eye, but the guy is fully focused on my rectum. With only 3 bullets remaining, I've really got to make these shots count. Well, fuck. Thanks to my accuracy being on par with the Sun newspaper, we're completely relying on the AI-powered Red Eye to save us. Okay, maybe not. She's just flat out abandoned us. I can't say I blame her, but damn, that shit's cold. I decide the pickup has got to be the best form of assault I've got left. But I didn't realise my door was missing, so immediately get pulled out. I'm just grateful it wasn't the crackhead that pulled me out, and I'm able to get back in with no worries. And from here, I put my arse to good use like a hooker who's at that time of the month. But I have no idea what happened to the feral, as when I get back to Red Eye, she's completely fine. Or maybe I'm slightly over-exaggerating, but look, she's still alive. What more do you want from me? I finally have a chance to chat to her and agree to take her home, but we ain't going home just yet. We're gonna use her as a distraction while we take down this player card. And even with my guy having like no stamina, our teamwork comes in clutch as we complete the first phase. Then while his spewing gases out, I run back to retrieve the car, and Red Eye being keen to escape, she hops in the back. But typically that doesn't last too long. She is able to regain her composure and get in once again, and feeling sorry for her, I decide to actually take her home now. I drop her off and they ask for more of my help, and I'm like, you're all a bunch of alcoholic lunatics. I'm in. Sadly, I forgot to check out any of their skills, so who knows, I guess one of them could have a negative trait, or we'll have to wait and see. But I can't go back to base just yet. I've got to make sure that play card's been dealt with. This time I park the car strategically and run on in. My initial assault goes well until I hear the cries of a blood feral and run away scared, just narrowly avoiding the tackle as I make it to the car. But seeing as I still got no bullets, things are looking bleak. If I fight the thing hand to hand, I'll get eviscerated, but I can't safely escape in the car due to the close proximity of the hordes and the fact that I have a door missing. I decide to go balls to the wall and charge back into the unfinished house and surprisingly complete the second phase, and that gives me just the space I need to get back to the car and escape safely. Except I'm not here to escape like some kind of massive pussy, I'm here for blood. With the hordes dealt with, I turn my attention to the blood feral, but he draws first blood by taking down my final door. In fact, he pretty quickly makes it 2-0 as I then get ripped out of the car. I then get a beating, leaving me molecules from infection, but I refuse to go quietly into the night, or middle of the day-ish. In the end, I actually managed to reverse over him. Fuck, I forgot how to dodge, I guess. And with the feral no longer an issue, it's pretty simple to deal with the play card. But I did have to dip into the mollies I bought from the alcoholics. And with that, we can call it a successful day and head back to base. But not before animal fact number 4. Did you know pandas are actually fucking useless? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know your favorite animal fact in the comment section, and while you're there, let me know if you want to see a full playthrough of this.